Welcome to this edition of On Point, and I'm joined by Badri Narayan, author of the book Republic of Hindutva. So thank you very much for making time. And let me begin this edition by straight away asking you, in your book, you explain the importance of smaller castes, the non-dominant OBC and the non-dominant sections within the Dalit community, and their contribution in enabling Bharatiya Janata Party to sweep the elections in 2017. Now, Uttar Pradesh elections are very near. Under the hard Hindutva image of Yogi Adityanath, do you think that this caste composition of smaller communities, which you called Stepney castes, which you have explained as those communities which are not very, very powerful, but if all of them come together, they are a political booster in elections. Will this work again for Yogi Adityanath?
Thank you, Kartikeya, for inviting me in your show. Yes, I think I have described in my book, Republic of Hindutva, how Stepney caste works in the elections and in the politics of democracy. Yes, what I observed that in BJP politics, they offer three kind of satisfaction for this kind of community. One is the sense of dignity, the craving for dignity which this community have. They provide them assurance for respect as social respect for them as Hindu. So Hindutva, secondly, Hindutva provide them this. BJP politics provide them offer them another space, and that is their participation in the development sector through various, and thirdly, taking various social welfare projects to them. Like you must have observed the Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana, Pradhan Mantri House distribution. No, it is mostly.
But will this work again? Badriji, will this work again? That's my question.
Actually, there is nothing happened in between in the Yogi Raj about these communities which may disturb them. No, Yogi is working on the same line. No, he is Hindutva icon, and also he is focusing on Bantangya, Mushas, various smaller Dalit caste and marginal caste. So he is working on that same line, providing them a space in their. It may disturb those who are dominant section of the society, but for the marginals, he is trying to push his plans and programs to them, and it's a very conscious planning of the BJP politics, BJP governance politics in Uttar Pradesh.
Can you explain?
Even in the Yogi Raj.
Can you explain how has rebuilding of Ambedkar helped Bharatiya Janata Party, especially in context of Uttar Pradesh, rebranding of Ambedkar?
Yes, one thing I'd also like to clarify about in reply of your first question, that in Uttar Pradesh, Yogi and Modi image are working together, no double engine in real sense. Sometimes we talk to the villagers, they say Yogi Modi ek hi hai, no, they are ek hi hai. So they don't see any difference between Yogi and Modi. So what Modi is offering is in one way Yogi is offering for them, or what Yogi is offering is the Modi offering for them. So it's both may converge together. So your second question about the rebuilding of the Ambedkar. Actually, Ambedkar is a space, symbolic space, which can open up your gate to interact with the educated Dalit opinion makers, middle class of the community. His image is very powerful among them, and narrating of the Ambedkar image help BJP to prove those community that look, we are at political space, very conducive for you, very comfortable for you, and we respect your identity, we respect your aspiration. So please come and work with us. So it's in one way it's a symbolic offer, but it also transforms sometimes substantive gain. Symbolic offer, but substantive gain, political gain. And when you get some gain from a community in terms of electoral support, you also do for them. So it's symbolic transform in substantive, for the community and for the party base.
Is it also because of the fact that there is a shift in caste politics? Like, for example, in 1970s, the Ambedkarite politics or even the radical left politics was about caste confrontation. Here I think the political shift has taken place where you consume the caste within the larger rubric of cultural Hindutva. It comes within that umbrella, which you can call parivar or you can call subaltern Hindutva. What is the success of this coming together? Can you please explain this in context of Uttar Pradesh?
Kartikeya ji, your observation is very apt. I think what the left politics and the Ambedkarite politics, they influence urban section or a kind of reading literate section of Dalits, and they were representing their voice, and they were thinking this is Dalit. For them, this is Dalit, but Dalit is not only that section of the community. Dalit is a much bigger, larger community, uneducated, illiterate, people who are believing in the God, deities, Ambedkarite, different from Ambedkarite Dalit perceptions. So BJP and RSS offers for them a sense of familyness, the right term you have used, a sense of familyness. And this radical politics always think that Dalit is a very warring community. They have to war, they have to fight, they have to resist, they have to assert. So these words for power, taking share in the power, always appear in the vocabulary of the left, the vocabulary of the Ambedkarite Dalit movement and all. But different from that, they talk the Samajik Samrashta fold of the Dalit mobilization proposed by the BJP and the RSS. They proposed a kind of samahar, a kind of familyness, a kind of very soft kind of imbibing, including them. And we always think that this community don't want to engage in the war, confrontation, or conflict. They also want dignity. The major urge of this community, deeper urge, is the dignity. And dignity may come from anywhere, from any side, from any form. And this form of Samajik Samrashta, as proposed by BJP and RSS, they propose for them a kind of Samrashta, a kind of inclusion that is not confronting in its nature, conflicting in its nature. It's not asserting. So it's a kind of providing them respect. That's only respect is a bigger urge among the community, social respect. And who gives social respect? Forward, dominant, and BJP works because BJP has a strong base in the forward community also. So they represent their voices. So Dalit thinks, look, here forward are also appreciating us.
You're saying that the politics has moved from the lines of confrontation to social inclusiveness, which RSS has been stressing. But then the question is, why is there overt emphasis on caste now from Bharatiya Janata Party in RSS when it comes to cabinet reshuffle, the open WhatsApp messages being sent to journalists that these so many OBCs, so many backwards, so many Ati Pichdas. If caste was an issue for RSS and the pure Hindu right, that it divides the society, then how come it has become an instrument of social action for them? Where has that shift happened? Can you just explain it? Because you have addressed parts of it in your book.
Yeah, this is also a shift in BJP RSS politics. And you must remember that when Balasaheb Devras became RSS chief, he is, in that period, the Samajik Samrashta campaign has started. And it's all, this Samajik Samrashta campaign tried to evolve caste identity and take it to the level from where it can converge in Hinduism identity. So caste identity, they are not going to put it as a Dalit marginal caste identity, as a confronting identity to Hinduism or Hindutva. They are evolving caste identity as Hindu identity. So there is no conflict between caste and Hindu. No, caste is a evolution of natural evolution reached to the Hindu identity. However, there is another interpretation is that marginal is in the entire Hindu caste system is a exclusive is a create exclusion for Dalits, so that should come out from that. Secondly, this government's reshuffle or recent change reshuffle of the Yogi government, they have focused on the caste. And your question is why they have focused on the caste? Because for caste, they are this actually the social justice politics. This is the failure of the social justice politics in terms of including all the elements which were strengthening social justice politics, and caste was one element. And so they are saying, look, we are giving you participation, khatik, beans, this and that. You must have seen the title of the names, no, Palturam, no, Jato, then the khatik and the bean. The name title was in their names, and so it's providing them representation, no, political representation. And you must have observed that now this time I have written somewhere also that this time in BJP politics, it's not non-Jato Dalit politics. It's also Jato and others Dalit politics. In Jato is not going to be excluded and creating verses as they have done in the last elections. This time, Jato, that's why the Baby Rani Maurya, entire big campaign, they are going to weave around the Baby Rani Maurya. And then secondly, the Palturam got a space in this. So I wanted to tell that an emphasis on the caste in the government reshuffle, in the ministry reshuffle, has two meaning. One is saying, look, we are going to provide you social justice in providing you share in the governance, in the development, in the administration, and also going to provide you social dignity and the political dignity. So that's the one meaning. And here, caste is not a versus of Hindutva. Caste and Hindutva may converge together and evolve as Hindu.
If there's so much of emphasis on non-Jata caste within Dalit, non-Yadav caste within OBC, as you have said that, BJP has not gone after the dominant caste. They have focused on small caste. Why do you explain the reticence for caste census then? If caste is the mobilizing force within Hindutva, and the test case of Uttar Pradesh, it has done well, then where is the fear stemming from? Because ultimately Yadavs and Jatas are not voting for Bharatiya Janata Party. Smaller parties, like for example, your explanation on, the whole Suhail Dev concept and the road being named, reimagining local deities, reimagining local icons. So where is the reticence for caste census coming from?
This time, as I said, that it is not going to be non-Jato Dalit politics of the BJP. BJP is going to be all Dalit politics. No? They want to take support from all Dalit. Secondly, the caste census may have its own problem, and you may ask this question to the BJP people that why you are opposing it. If you want to get support from this marginal, a smaller community, they need to be quantified or enumerated. But what is happening? You see, in this community, even today, they don't have capacity to compete with the major community of their own section, like Tatwa is not able to compete with the Yadavs, or Mushar is not able to compete with the Jatos. So if the number will be counted, who will be benefited? Again, the dominant section of this community, because this count enumeration will culminate in the another demand of reservation, extension of reservation. This is my interpretation. It's not the BJP version. So I'm saying this enumeration is not going to help these smaller marginal communities. And we were serving in few villages, doing a project that who wants caste census. And we are asking to the people, most marginal community people, like, do you want caste census? Kartikeya ji, most of them said that हमें तो कुछ पता ही नहीं क्या होता है caste census, क्या होता है जाति जनगणना. They are not knowing anything. And then we explained कि नहीं इससे we don't have any meaning with this. हमें कोई concern with this. Only few OBCs, Jadavs, or dominant section of the community youths, those who are involved in the politics in the villages where we are working. We are not saying about the urban spaces. Like this is a rural site, 6 villages we are serving, and the population of more than 15,000-16,000. And there we observe only few politically active opposition party cadres. We are talking about the caste census. They may make it a popular demand later when they will mix it with their election campaign. So, but abhi, it is not a demand from the most marginal community.
My last question to you, sir, is: do you think that slums are the new frontier for RSS in various states? Because if you look at various states which you have mentioned in the book, slums which used to be dominated by left politics, Ambedkarite politics, RSS has made its way. Is it also happening in places like Uttar Pradesh, or is it restricted to industrial states like Gujarat and Maharashtra?
Yes, sure. I have written in this book, Republic of Hindutva, that how the slums were considered once as a space of red politics, this left politics, and also the politics of green politics, blue politics, politics of the Dalit, BSP, because Kanshiram used to tell these migrants, mostly they are Dalits, they stay in the slums. And there, BSP used to get votes from those community in a big way. Now, RSS is working very consistently in these spaces through their microfinance groups, through various kinds of their chain of schools, chain of health systems, organizing camps, health camps. They are doing. And they are changing this space from a space of radical politics to the politics of Hindutva or BJP politics. So that is a new shift which we observed in the space of slums in Uttar Pradesh.
I think you have put it very nicely. But to close this interview now, do you think that Yogi Adityanath will be able to politically tackle the consequences of pandemic, where a social being became the biological being? Will it reverberate in Uttar Pradesh elections?
Yes. See, Yogi Adityanath would not like to get revive this pandemic issue in these elections. So his strategy would be to not to open up this debate, but opposition strategy would be to open up this debate of the unsuccess or whatever in the last second wave of the corona. But the people, I was surprised to see. I was telling to someone that Indian people have a good memory. You used to tell, but they have a good memory as social memory. They always remember their social memory, social and whatever. But individual memory, after some time, they always forget. They are ready to forget. So whatever the suffering which they faced in the corona second wave, if you go and talk to them, even those who have lost their family, those who directly not lost their family, they were nearby of those houses and habitats. For them, this is not a very moving issue now. So this entire narrative of the flowing the lash in the Gangas and all, entire media stories. Now they don't have impact in
basically, you are saying that they're going to behave like social beings and less of people where we saw human bodies getting stripped of social dignity. I think I would say that it's a wonderful book, but your observations on Uttar Pradesh were very, very profound in context of how smaller castes were and the memorialization of Ambedkar helped Bharatiya Janata Party churn new sort of Hindutva, which led them to a huge victory in 2017. Well, the issue is whether this will be repeated in 2012 because goalposts can shift and nothing is sure in politics. But I would say it was a very meaningful and a rich conversation. And thank you so much for joining me in this edition of On Point.
Thank you, Karthikeya. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you so much. Nice to talk to you.